Well, good day, good day. We are here for the Buckhead podcast. For this month's episode, we've got some great guests with us today. My name is Michael Moore. It's my pleasure to host this organizational time. We're going to learn a little bit about transportation, i.e. travel, i.e. how to have fun. And then also we're going to talk about sustainability from a different angle. We're going to talk about it from the position of Simon's Mall, the largest mall operator in the country, and how they bring interesting things to us during a time when we're all trying to learn about sustainability and how we can reduce and change our carbon footprint while still enjoying things. Again, I'm Michael Moore. Today's show is hosted by made possible by, not hosted, I'm the host today, right? Made possible by the Buckhead Business Association, founded in 1951, and we are the voice of Buckhead business for a number of years. Got a couple of events still coming up. We'll talk a little about those and give you an opportunity to participate. But let's kind of jump in and let's talk about one of those stress reducers before we talk about sustainability. Let's talk with Lauren Rock, who is the owner of Dynamic Escapes, and I've coined a new title for you, by the way. You're the CTO. That's Chief Travel Officer. Yeah,
I'll take it.
You can do that. I understand you are an expert at travel, and because life is all about experiences and the memories you create, that's what we all do every day. This is why Lauren Rock founded Dynamic Escapes, a full-service travel concierge. Lauren's role as a travel concierge to take all the care and make all the research, do all the planning that goes into booking your trip. Thereby, she enables her clients to just focus on enjoying the trip, their time away. Lauren established Dynamic Escapes in 2016. She's a member of the Travel Leaders Network. Connections, prices, and upgrades, boy, all those things are important. She holds numerous accreditations and is a specialist certified by the travel industry. Lauren loves researching places to go, things to do. And is it true you are addicted to travel?
I am very much addicted,
Good.
Yes.
Well, what caused you or what disease did you get to want to travel all the time?
I love seeing new places and seeing how other folks live, and it just endlessly fascinates me.
Endlessly fascination. Okay, you've just led me right to the next question. What is the most fascinating place you have ever been?
Just one?
Yeah, this is it. Pinpoint.
Oh, my.
It would be Buckhead, right? Wouldn't it be?
Yes, of course. Well, I grew up in Buckhead, so
she travels from one side of Peachtree to the other,
Exactly.
and that's not the experiences we're trying to sell here today. But what's up? Well, give me two fun places you've been. We'll talk about the details later.
The south of Spain, the Moorish culture and history and architecture there, and the food is just amazing. And then I also have a weak spot for wildlife, so Costa Rica and Australia.
Boy, wildlife. And Costa Rica, I can just picture that now. I can hear the birds. The Australia, what kind of noises do kangaroos make, by the way?
The thud as they hit the ground.
Thump. All right, we got that covered. So, starting the business, you must obviously transferred a passion into a business. You started this from scratch. You're a woman-owned business. Talk a little bit about that experience.
I started the business actually because I'd always done the research for folks, friends, family, and whatnot. And I was in a corporate life, and it was actually my family who said, you are much happier when you talk about researching for friends and families' trips than you are when you talk about your job at the corporation. Why don't you switch? And I thought, wow, why didn't I think of that a long time ago? And that was the beginning, really.
Well, yeah, I know that we talked about where the fun places. We got to south of Spain, we got Australia, we got Costa Rica. Talk about the most complicated trips you do as a concierge. I mean, some people have some very unusual, maybe sometimes outlandish requests. Mm-hmm. No names now.
No, of course not. I would say the most, in some ways, interesting was a family that has 5 children, all between the ages at that time of 15 down to 11, 4 girls and 1 boy. And they wanted to road trip from Atlanta all the way up to the east coast of Canada.
Wow.
Yes.
And they wanted to do it in 5 days, right?
Exactly. And they were fine. They wanted rental homes and apartments, and they were fine with all the kids in one room if they needed to and sharing a bathroom. Mm. So I did the research of, not only where to go and what to see, but finding homes and places that would accommodate them and their desires. And my biggest joy when they came back was that the 15-year-old boy, after spending 5 weeks with his entire family, said it was a wonderful time and he really enjoyed being with his family. And that just made me so happy that they all felt that way, especially him.
Well, that's one step better than just having a great memory. He really had a great experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Some people say the good old days weren't that far back and they weren't that good, but it sounds like this young man developed some new relationships. Now, were the sisters older or younger?
Younger. He was the oldest.
Oh, so he got to be the big man on campus.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. But having 4 little sisters has to be a challenge.
I could only dream. I could only dream about that. So, okay, now, that's a complicated trip. Experiences were great. So, what are some of the challenges you do actually encounter every day that we might not think about for travel?
Well, what people really want. Why are they taking their trip? Are you going because you want to see a new place and visit every museum, or are you going because you want to sit on a beach and relax from all the work you've been doing? And does your vision of your trip match the person you're going with?
Well, I guess interviewing does become a very important part of that, really determining that the first answer they gave you is the true one.
Not just true, but they really know for themselves. Because, if you're going to go with someone else, you both want to have a good time. You both want to make the most of it. Make sure you're on the same page. Make sure you have the same vision.
Well, let's talk about some of those kind of trips where you don't travel alone. So let's bucket list for a minute. That seems to be there's a movie called Bucket List, right?
I think there's all kinds of things the bucket list.
Bucket list. But so talk about some of the bucket list experiences where you've taken maybe high school friends or the girls group or.
I've had both. I've had a lot of grandparent-grandchild trips, which is really nice for both ends to get to share something special together and create some memories for grandparent-grandchildren time. Multi-family groups, multi-generations, girls, just plain old girls trips, and a few
plain old girl trips.
Okay. Nothing special, no big. It's not a anniversary. It's not a wedding. It's not this. It's just time to be away together. So it really runs the gamut.
Well, let's see. How's it go? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Now you
Yes.
probably generated some of those kind of trips too. Let's talk about some of those. Off the beaten track, very strange, unusual, and memories that can't be quoted in the family Bible.
You mean the group that wanted to do all the wineries? And all the fun they had with that? Yep, I had some folk.
Now we have to worry about what continent that was on and what country that was in. And did they drink red or white?
They drink everything. They went across Italy and they wanted to see the wineries, see the few museums along the way, but just sample all they could.
So, as a booking agent, did you get those requests back? Please don't send them back here again.
No.
All right. So, all across Italy, that's pretty cool. Now, talk about some of the things which are trending in terms of travel today. Where are Atlanta people going? What are they doing special and different?
It depends on the people. A lot of folks, if they're lucky enough to have been to all the big, quote-unquote, European cities, people want new experiences, something new to see. Game of Thrones has had a huge influence on the travel industry. Croatia, Spain, Northern Ireland, folks wanting to see that. Finding small cities and towns across Europe that don't necessarily make every Instagram feed.
I could just think Game of Thrones. So what about Downton Abbey? You've been done tours on that one?
Folks at Downton Abbey. It's
a destination as well. Now, travel is important, and most of us learned that years ago. Everybody doesn't always take the vacation they deserve or that they've earned, right?
Yes.
I know that time away from work is important, and that's certain that the young 15-year-old man, think about his mom and dad on that trip. So what are the trends in being away from work, and what's the productivity gain for travel? Let's go down that road for a minute. Talk about some of your experiences.
Well, that's a big issue is, Americans in general don't take the time off that they have earned. And a lot of folks think, well, look what a great worker I am. But it affects your mindset. It affects your ability to get your job done well. It affects even your health. There's numerous studies that show that if you spend all the time stressed and working, it has a toll on you. And there's some studies that show that folks that take vacations regularly and get a mental break are actually more productive and happier in their jobs than folks who don't. So it's an important thing to do, and it doesn't have to be a huge trip. A long weekend away to go and visit all the waterfalls outside of Brevard, North Carolina, can do wonders. So don't feel that folks have to have a huge budget and a huge amount of time. They just have to have the interest and desire.
And as you said now with the concierge, but also having the ability to build experiences. So maybe one time is going to the waterfalls of Brevard. The next long weekend might be 3 restaurants. Talk about some of the ways people expand and go back to the same places and not do the same things. That's one of your concierge features.
With folks wanting to return to places. Well, once you get past the things that are on everyone's top 10 list that you read everywhere else, a lot of people really want to have the local experience, not just eat in a restaurant, but folks go back and they meet with a chef and they learn how to make food in a local kitchen. And they're not just eating great food, they're meeting neat people and learning about life there. In Peru, that's a common thing to do now. Folks, after they see Machu Picchu and all the ruins, they go through Lima and they meet with a chef in someone's home and learn about the culture and the food and meet people face to face. Those connections are really memorable when people get to know each other as individuals, not as just faces on the bus.
Well, we're running back closer to the staycation times now a little bit. Talk about the expense and the planning that some people go overboard with before they call you.
Well, there's two sides to that. There are folks who spend an awful lot of time on the internet because, on the one hand, you can find everything on the internet. On the other hand, you can spend an awful lot of time finding an awful lot of stuff and not knowing what to do with it. A lot of people I talk to, they're like, oh, I thought I'd go online and read about a place and then book it. And then they went, oh my gosh, there's so much here. I don't know what to pick, what to do, and how to put it together.
Well, I know you've got a lot of very happy customers over time. And talk about some of those experiences. How do you judge the results? How do you outbrief your concierge service?
I ask everyone who comes back for a review, not just of the technical aspects. What did you think of that hotel? How did you like that tour guide? But I want to know from folks, what was your happiest time on the trip? What made you enjoy it? Most people do. 99% of the time, people have a wonderful trip, and that's the goal. I've had folks that have had adventures, quote unquote, along the way. I've had people get sick. I've had people get injured and had to help them with that. But even those folks said, well, except for that little bit, we had a great time.
that broken leg on the ski slope, other than that, but the chocolate was good and the fire was warm.
Exactly.
And I didn't have to go out in the cold.
So I've had to help a few folks with the last minute, not so much last minute, but emergencies, gotten the call from Australia, from Germany of, this has happened. So there's some, real life that intrudes sometimes on vacation, and I help folks with that as well.
Well, you also, as a traveler, talk about some surprises you've experienced yourself while checking out places for other people to go.
I've learned that there's a huge difference between the quality of bus companies in Peru. Okay. That was the technical people are like, oh, you get to travel all day. And I do, but I made it my point to be sure that I check out all the different things that are there. And there's one bus company that was fantastic. It was a wonderful experience. I felt like I was in a first-class service on an airplane. And there was another one that I was just happy to get off that bus. Same thing with some airlines. I went on one airline that everyone said was the great way to get a cheap trip to Europe, and you get a free stopover, and everything's great. The planes were pretty. They were purple. Other than that, it was...
bumpy landings, bumpy takeoffs, and bumpy
that
food.
part was fine, but the dog that was sitting in the emergency exit row... the... airline that all four stops, they didn't get anybody's seat correct. I had to redo everything each time, and now that airline went out of business. So
now we talked about memories, so you have some memories of that experience, right?
Yes.
So as a concierge person, why would we not want to fool with the internet? Why would we not want to do those things and take the easy way out and let you plan our trip for us?
That's a good question. I think everybody should want someone to do all this for them.
I was always cheerful to let my wife do that, and with the kids' input, then we had a good trip. It met their needs. Yeah. So wrapping up, working here in Buckhead and working with folks with very unique opportunities, how do people get in touch with you?
I'm online. I'm internet or website or good old-fashioned phone call.
Okay, that phone
email.
Number is?
My phone number is 404-372-3403.
Great. And on the internet, you can be found at?
dynamicescapes.com.
And as we wrap up this segment, what special do you want people to think about summer travel here in Atlanta with 199 things you probably haven't done here?
It's going to be hot, so I'd say check out Kennesaw Mountain, Arabia Mountain, all the wonderful walking and hiking trails that folks may not know exist, that you can feel like you're away for the day and not be quite as hot as you will be in town.
I was kind of thinking about combining two of your trips, your bus trip and your wine trip here in Atlanta. Gray Line, what is it?
Oh, yeah. There's folks that do that. There's some wineries not too far from town. We could do that too.
All right, let's book that trip. Well, it's been a pleasure to visit with you, Lauren. I think people have now planned their summer vacation. I sure hope they'll call Dynamic Escapes and pick the best place to go and have the best experience and, of course, have the best memories.
Thank you.
So now as we turn our attention to sustainability, and I guess we did talk about it, but probably green tours are pretty big in Costa Rica.
Yes, and other places. Well, folks are starting to care about their carbon footprints and impacts.
Well, that was my segue to the Green Atlanta. We've got trees here, and I was thinking I was actually in Atlanta in 1959. or 1957. I remember clearing all the trees, the farm, to build Lenox Mall. So we've got Simon's Property representative with us today, Lindsay Jones, and she is the queen of marketing over there. And I love it. One of her titles is tourism marketing, and people do still come to Lenox Mall and stay in the hotels across the street and have a phenomenal experience. So it becomes a travel experience, which becomes a memory.
Absolutely. We're definitely an iconic shopping destination, as you alluded to. We're turning 60 this year, which is a big thing, happening here in Atlanta, because Lenox is such an iconic shopping destination. We have lots of visitors coming from all over the world here to Atlanta, and of course, one of their favorite stops and their top bucket list things is Lenox Square, and we're happy to be part of that.
Well, now, before the show, Lindsay was sharing she started out in Kenner, Louisiana with Simon's. Talk about your evolution, and I know one of the things you're very proud of, and I know one of the things that your boss is very proud of, is the positioning on social media that Simon Mall and Lenox Mall and, of course, Pep's Plaza has here. They're the destination shops, and I was going to comment, this 60-year anniversary this year, but no, Lenox Mall has been a senior for 10 years. When they turned 50, it was a big deal that no shopping center, because this was the first shopping center in the country, am I right?
Not in the country, but in Georgia, yes,
in
definitely.
Georgia, okay,
yes.
we'll take it.
We'll take it.
I remember an open air mall and going with my girlfriend down to Casual Corner and sitting on the bench outside where she shopped. Sitting outside shops now is a lot more convenient because they have nice chairs and nice air conditioning and, of course, food courts. So talk about the changes in the shopping center world and social media. What's it really meaning to you guys now?
I mean, obviously you can see through the years how much Lenox has changed, but still continue to be the iconic, dominant shopping center in Georgia and the Southeast. I mean, really, we kind of have everything for everybody. Everything from Topshop and Zara all the way through the luxury brands of Burberry and Louis Vuitton. So kind of anything that you need, Lenox really has it all. We have 250 stores, which, between Lenox and Phipps, there's 350 stores with more than 100 exclusive to the market are between the two shopping centers. We really call it iconic shopping at the corner of,
Peachtree
and Lenox. And so it's, between the two shopping centers, it's really everything you could need. And then obviously, as we continue to evolve and grow, the shopping center, if you go through on a Saturday, is doing, so well, booming. And then, all of our great initiatives and everything happening this year as part of the anniversary. And then all of our, Earth Week initiatives that we've been doing to really talk about sustainability, which you'll see all over our social media, like just all the different ways to be part of the community and to continue to grow the shopping center, which, it just gets bigger and better every year.
Well, I'm proud of Simon Properties, and of course, naturally, very proud of Lenox and focusing on sustainability. So, talk a little bit about the month we've been going through now, and some of the highlights, as well as some of the things that you folks do all year long to focus on sustainability.
So, what we've really been doing for the month is we've been working with Wellspring Living, which is a great organization here in town, to do clothing donations for their women's centers. So they really work to help bring women that have gone through sex trafficking back into society. So we've really been working to, collect clothing to be able to donate to these women, to really have professional outfits to be able to bring them back into the workforce, which is a great community organization we've been working with. And we're doing that as part of our sustainability month as well, to be able to recycle clothes rather than throw away and continue to contribute to the landfill. So that's been happening, and we're still going to continue collecting for them. They're a great organization. We did a little bit of a food court takeover. So we had all these great metal straws that we've been giving out all month long to be able to really, get rid of some of the plastic and really do like reusable metal straws. They've been great branded with their own cleaners and sterilized and everything. So we've been seeing, hundreds and hundreds of metal straws across the food court at Lenox, which is so great to see, really kind of take away from the plastic use and really talk about recycling. We've been doing a lot of recycling, which we continue to do. We've done a conversion to LED lights, which takes back on that energy and those kilowatt hours. We have those car charging stations. So we have 24 car charging stations at Lenox, which is really great for, to continue to promote the electric cars. We have the Tesla in the front. We have the EV car charging stations by the food court. So lots of sustainability efforts we've been doing through the whole month and kind of continue on throughout the normal course of our business. And then, of course, retailers are really giving back this month. Apple is doing all kinds of recycling things for recycling your phones and electronics. J. Crew and Madewell have been great partners with recycling jeans. MAC Cosmetics and Kiehl's. You bring in your old makeup products, which I know ladies have so much of. You bring them back in and they'll give you new products to replace them, which is really great.
What's that store name again?
So MAC and Kiehl's, they both have great programs for recycling the containers. Because if you think about it, like, what are you really doing with your containers when you're done, right? You can bring them back into the store, which is a really great effort and initiative because, as ladies, we have lots of makeup products.
I was thinking of one. Is there a record for how many tubes of lipstick someone's brought back?
I'm sure there is. But MAC does it great. You bring back 10 and you get a free lipstick in return, which is really neat because when you think about how many lipstick tubes you kind of have laying around your house.
Color.
Exactly. Try new colors. So there's a lot of great initiatives kind of all year round that also happen.
Right. In terms of integrating opportunity for children and so forth, I'm sure that might have been some field trips during Earth Month.
There have been. We've been seeing lots of kids, all kinds of really fun family activities. We're also working with the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation in the month of May, and we're doing a great children's fashion show that'll be happening with really fun kind of initiatives working with children throughout the month. And, family's been a big focus for us this year and kind of seeing more and more kids kind of come through participating in garden planting that we've been doing, pot decoration, kind of all kinds of family fun.
Wow. Now, I know they can just go to Simon or Lenox.com and find all those things
That's
out.
correct.
Tell us how people can get really involved, because I know for one of the things about going to the mall, it's a destination, but when you get there, you go, wow, I didn't realize all this was happening. How do you get the story out other than the Sunday paper, which we don't read anymore?
Well, the best thing is always check our social media. Our Instagram is always being updated, which is at Lenox Square Mall, our Facebook page, our Twitter. And then, of course, if you're at the mall, guest services is kind of your one-stop shop for everything.
Is that still right in the center?
It's still right in the center, right outside of Neiman Marcus on the mall level. We have a great staff there that really kind of knows everything that's happening. They can give you directories, restaurant information. They do coat and package checks. So if you want to keep some more shopping, you can actually check your packages so you don't have to carry everything through the mall. There's a lot of great free services that we offer there, and they kind of know the ins and outs of everything going on. So a little insider tip is to always check in at guest services. They have good stuff.
It's great. You've got the upfront parking. You've got the police station out back. You've got all the stuff people need. And I've even seen the Uber Eats guys swinging in and picking up delivery food. So really, Lenox Mall does do it all, right?
We do it all. Something for everybody.
There's got to be a slogan there. So what's the opportunity for the next few months? What's going on this summer that people might want to?
So this summer, we actually have our first walk with Livable Buckhead is doing their 5K coming up in June. So that's going to be their first time doing it that we're happy to host. We also have, of course, the 60th anniversary at Lenox, which will be happening in August as we're getting ready for back to school, which is always a great, great fun time. And then, of course, looking forward to holiday, we always have, of course, Macy's tree lighting, which everybody loves and remembers.
Don't forget Santa.
Don't forget Santa and the pink pig.
Oh, yes.
And all of those kind of great memories that happen at Lenox are, continuing to come back year over year.
Well, that is super. Now, in August, you said the 60th anniversary. What's going on special? Is it going to be the gala? Is it going to be the giant tree drop ball?
We're having a community reception to really look back and see everything that's happening kind of through the years, of Lenox through the years. And as we kind of continue to grow and evolve, we'll have lots of great pictures and activations of things happening. And it's really looking at where Lenox started as that outdoor center that you say, which is so great. Because if you actually walk by our office, we have one of the original benches from the outdoor center with a photo of a guy sitting on the bench of one of the original concrete benches. We're pretty sure it's you.
Did they get my best side? It might have been. That was, I can remember those days.
Yes.
Oh, that was a great time.
So it's so interesting because we have all these great artifacts already through the mall. So it's just kind of bringing them all together as part of the 60th anniversary. So if you're ever walking through Lenox, if you're going by the food court bathrooms, you'll see that bench that I'm talking about with that great photo that really shows it back when it opened in 1959.
Well, it's been a pleasure. So you've talked about Instagram, you've talked about Facebook, you've talked about all the other ways. Suppose someone wants to host or do something different at the mall. You're the point of contact.
I am the person.
You'd like to have all kind of special events, just whatever Buckhead thinks of?
Absolutely. So my information's on the website. If you go to simon.com and you go to Lenox's page, our information will all be on there. But we would love to hear from everybody of what they're thinking and all their great memories from our 60th year too.
It sounds like you'll probably get a few of those phone calls.
That's
Remember,
great.
we are the regional shopping center. First in Georgia, not first in the Southeast, but not first in the country. I guess Wisconsin beat us out or something.
It's all up north.
It's
yeah.
all up north. It's all up north. So, in wrapping up, what's the story you want people to remember about Lenox Mall today?
I mean, to definitely check out all the great things that we have going on, and we're continuing to be a great community partner, and all of our sustainability is going along with that. All of the great information about everything we're doing for Earth Week and all of our upcoming information is on our website, so just check it out. There's always lots of things kind of happening, and then the other good trick on our website is it has a list of all the deals. So all the store sales that are going on are all on our website, so you can even pull it up and plan your trip before you come.
Can you censor some of that in advance, depending on who your travel partner is? All right, so you must have read the segue part because, now we've got a little bit of time left. And Lindsay, I want to thank you for being with us. And it's really interesting. Lauren has talked about travel. We talked about Lenox Mall being a destination. We've talked about taking care of yourself. And, shopping is certainly a break. It's therapeutic, right? Shopping?
I absolutely think it's therapeutic.
You believe it, I could tell.
Oh, yeah.
So sustainability, Costa Rica, travel, shopping, taking time off. Let's just interact a little bit about experiences that go on in your world and how you might integrate and help each other, because you can provide more customers and she can provide best experiences.
And I have to admit, have a few memories. I remember the mall as an open-air mall. I remember walking over there when there used to be, I think it was an A&P grocery store down near where the food court is now. I'd walk with my grandmother from her apartment on Lenox to that grocery store. So I hate to admit it, but I have some good memories that last a little longer back than I would care to admit.
And remember the fireworks.
Oh, yes.
From the good old days.
These are always the memories we love to hear. And as you go through the center, you'll see we have a lot of great old photos, black and white, from, Davidson's and all of the real good history of how Lenox has really been kind of the cornerstone of the shopping, especially here in Buckhead.
And remembering that the experiences for one might have been the bad Saturday for the other one. It was that the first pair of shoes for the daughter, and you had to buy 3, and she got into the shoe thing. I remember that day. So in terms of working on the planet, you can take destination vacations, you can save in staycation. Talk about what you might enjoy over the summer. Integration of shopping. Can you plan some shopping trips?
People very much think about shopping. A lot of folks, when they travel, they want to see what unique things they can get when they're even in other cities, the neat shops and places in New Orleans that are a little different experience than getting to have the entire world at Lenox. But that is a big part of some people's shopping, is part of their lives.
Yeah, and I think the experience of shopping in the store, being able to touch and feel and try on, and really kind of building those connections, which you talked about, really kind of having connections with the people that work in the store, those people that you're shopping with. I think it's all between travel and shopping is all connection, which is, really what, people want to enjoy in their time off of work, is really being able to connect with other people, which is, Lenox is a great place for it. When you're traveling for vacation, that's really what you're there to do. I think connection is really the point of kind of it all.
I'm thinking of Godiva chocolates.
Yes.
And shopping in Williams-Sonoma and doing those things which we can relate to and we can show people and talk about things. So, man, it is just so exciting to think about. We got this destination. We got all these places to go. We got, I don't know what the number is, 199 places you haven't been in Georgia, but certainly Lenox Mall should be on top of that list. And we look forward to visiting with both of you folks and seeing that. Again, we're brought to you in part by the Buckhead Business Association. So, since 1951, which was a little before the mall. We'll be getting toward our 70th pretty soon. And looking at the opportunities, I know both of you have participated. Simon's Mall, of course, Simon's is a long-term participant in the BBA. And, of course, Lauren, you're a Buckhead Business Association member. So let's just divert for just a moment. Talk about your experiences with the BBA as we wrap up today.
The BBA has been great. Some people are like, why did you need to join an organization? You're from the area. Don't you know all you need to know? And it's not just knowing. It's meeting all the new people, learning all the great new ideas that are floating around Buckhead. Buckhead is not the same that it was when I was younger, I'll put it that way.
Nor even 10 years ago.
Nor even 10 years ago. And really understanding what's coming, what's going on, how you can be a part of it, everything from the growth of the mall, the idea for the park next to the mall, over 400, what all kinds of businesses are here now. BBA has been a great way to connect with people and learn more about a place that I knew a lot about, but you can always know more.
There's a lot of details. Now, and your experiences, you've been a couple of morning meetings.
I have. I mean, it's always...
They're early, though. I know that part, right?
Yes, they are very early. It's always good to be, because, we really look at Lenox as part of the community. So in order to be part of the community, we have to be part of the community. And I think that that's why it's really important, is the mall is really part of the Buckhead community and has been for 60 years now. So it's always great to see the new faces that are coming in, really talking to everybody in the community and really learning what's going on and what people are looking for. Because, we're always open to feedback on what people are interested in, what would they like to see more of. Kind of really hearing the feedback from the community is always very key.
Well, I'm going to give that plug for the early morning meetings. The Buckhead Business Association does meet at least three Thursday mornings each month, and sometimes 4 if it's 5 Thursdays. But we do on the third Thursday of each month, we have an after hours. And so we get the opportunity to not only have breakfast time meetings with 50 or 60 of your closest friends, because they'll get that way, or you can join 50, 60 folks for an after hours at one of our fine bars or restaurants here in the city, or an outing. And as you mentioned a moment ago about the Park Over 400, getting to hear about the details from the people responsible for making it happen. It's very cool, and we've had all types of developers. We've had all folks from the Georgia Chamber of Commerce talk about initiatives. We've had people from the legislature talk about things. So literally, at the Thursday morning breakfast, you're going to learn things that you would not have the opportunity to learn any other way unless you had all the friends that you needed. And most of us don't have the ones that know the right stuff because they want to talk about things which we may not think is quite important. So I gather we'll be seeing you to Buckhead Business Breakfast each time, and as well as the after hours. Now we have 2 other simple plugs. We've got the signature lunch coming up, which is in June. And then, of course, one thing you don't want to miss in the early fall in September this year is a Taste of Buckhead, which is obviously one of those great treats. So on behalf of the Buckhead Business Association, on behalf of Michael Moore, here today with Lindsay Jones from Simon's Properties and Lauren Rock of Dynamic Escapes, the new CTO for Buckhead. Thank you for being with us. Rich, let's sign us off.